it's Jai452 here again, inside Cosplay. So we're rummaging around in that big old cupboard today. I wonder what we'll find. Oh, looks like we found somebody already. So my special guest today is the wonderful
Nicholas Ma.
So you're here today, Nicholas, to help us rummage through this cosplay cupboard that we're locked in. So we're going to just jump right into it because it's a really pressed for time kind of thing today. And my first question is going to be to you, when did you first start cosplaying?
I first started cosplaying in around 2012, I think it's, first as a Ghost from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at the CCA in Glasgow, and then properly as Hunk from Resident Evil, from the Resident Evil series at the first ever MCM Comic Con in Scotland.
Awesome. Do you remember, well, yeah, you just kind of said who your first cosplay was. Who or what inspires you to cosplay?
Well, what inspired me was back when I was about 17, I was walking into a mall and I didn't know there was an anime or manga event or a Comic-Con event back in Malaysia at that mall at that time. So at one point I seen a girl crosplayed as Genjo Sanzo from Gensumaten Sayuki. And that was when I was 17. It did kind of pique my interest, and plus not to mention, the amount of superhero comic movies and anime that I watched, as well as like music that I listened to, to get that kind of upbeat feeling, or that kind of, like music from, say, Nightwish, Within Temptation, to get that kind of like the fuse between metal and symphony, and they bring me into like the mood, and then when you watch Lord of the Rings, those kind of music.
Awesome. Now the next question I've got for you is a bit of a two-parter. What has been the most challenging cosplay that you've ever done, from both the making of the suit and from an acting standpoint? Because a lot of people still don't really get that sometimes when you're cosplaying, you are essentially trying to become that character. So you might study the way that they move, you might study the way that they talk, or just how they would interact with people and try to mimic that as best as possible. So which cosplay for you has been the most difficult to make, and then which has been the most difficult to act?
The most difficult to make would probably be, I would say Pyramid Head, because it was my first time properly creating a cosplay from scratch, and then the training I put my body into, to enhance the look, like I cut down on a lot of junk food, and then took on a lot of red meat and, protein and all that, just to, go work out, and then hitting the gym, like just continuously hitting the gym kind of thing, just time, to be honest, like, but then it was well worth it. And also acting wise, I would say acting as Pyramid Head, that's one, and acting as a Pyramid Head was a kind of scary character, but then I personally am not a scary character. I'm like just out there, just kind of going
very
crazy.
Nice character.
Pyramid is a nice character, but it's the game's protagonist. So, like, to act as Pyramid is a little bit difficult. What I've done was I played the games, I watched the movies, and then went on YouTube to kind of watch Pyramid Head over and over again, just to kind of get how he walks, and thank goodness it doesn't speak. So all I need to do is just kind of walk about, and then yeah, to get the acting right, that was a slight bit difficult. But then as for Punisher, it's if you see how the Punisher is, how Frank Castle is, he is not a friendly guy. He's never a friendly guy, and it shows in his comics and in the movies. And you see him as a kind of down to business guy, no nonsense kind of guy. And I like to joke a lot myself, so it was a bit difficult to stay in character, especially at Comic Cons.
Yeah. Speaking about your Pyramid Head, now I've seen your Pyramid Head and I love it. It's like
Thank you.
one of my favorite ones to see at a Comic Con. But I remember my first initial reaction when I seen you in Pyramid Head was, how does he move? You know, because your Pyramid Head is like this huge, massive kind of triangular type box head,
Hmm.
and it like, does that weigh anything? Is it like really heavy, really
Um,
light?
it is a bit heavy, but I have I've looked through the internet and found out that I can actually do it with cardboard. Those kind of
Cardboard.
yep, those those kind of packing cardboards. They're in good condition, or you can just go into B&Q, get a proper like heavy duty one. Not heavy, but like they can take a punch, not a proper punch, but they're more durable, and build it from there. And so the weight on the hit wasn't that much, and just to balance it, that's all. It does, after a while of wearing it, say continuously wearing it, you will find it a bit heavy, but other than that, because I've also trained my body, so that I can kind of take the weight, that's fine enough. Yeah.
What was the most difficult thing about the Pyramid Head costume?
The
Because
most the most difficult was to get the angles right, and then going to the gym. Like sometimes there are days that I just go, oh no, I just can't be arsed going to the gym.
I think another one that one of the problems that I could see with doing Pyramid Head is your field of vision.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because and this is something that we can share. The Halloween event
Hmm.
that happened in Glasgow's Trade Centre, you were one of the judges, alongside a Red Arrow and I think Jack Skellington.
Yep.
Yep. Our MC Laurel had to tell people, right, instead of just standing at the side of the stage and posing for the judges, please try and walk to the centre of it so that Pyramid Head can see you. Because you kind of had to like angle
Yeah, kind of had
the
to kind
head
of
up
look
to
up a
look.
bit. Uh,
Um, I have to like, this will be one of the only times. So guys, this is an exclusive. I'm gonna say sorry to you for that because I think I might have started that unwillingly.
yeah.
Because like I was one of the first people up,
Hmm.
and I didn't walk to the center of the stage. I just kind of walked halfway, stopped, posed, and then walked off. Um, and then I noticed everybody else started doing that, and I was like, "Oh dear, have I started a trend?" And then obviously Laurel saying, "Walk to the center." I was like, "Oh god, this is totally my fault." So
Yeah, the field of vision for a pyramid head is the way I've designed it. It was a limited field of vision. I had to have the middle kind of have have that skeleton there so that it doesn't fall on itself.
mhm.
And I can only see about less than 50% of my vision. so I can't see on the sides. Like I don't have peripheral vision because of the how it was built. So every time I move, I have to kind of move the whole way. But then that works for how Pyramid Head is. You
Hmm.
don't see Pyramid Head in game, or you rarely see him turn his head. That's it. You'll always see him turn the whole way.
You don't see him like pulling it up just to keep it out
You
either.
don't see him just go, oh.
That'd be interesting. Um, okay, so this is in your opinion. What is the most difficult thing or character to cosplay as?
Well, for myself, it would be Pyramid Head
Hmm.
because the whole costume and the building of it and the training. But from what I've seen through things on on the internet and on Comic Cons, the one thing I've seen probably the most difficult to cosplay would be the Hulkbuster cosplay that's seen on YouTube.
Hmm.
I mean, it took the guy at least 20 minutes to just get into the suit. So imagine the effort and time he's put into making it, So that would, like, hats off.
Is the Hulkbuster costume similar to like the Iron Man and Master Chiefs that you see kind of like wandering around?
Um,
Because I don't think I've seen the Hulkbuster one.
yeah, we've not seen them in Scotland yet, but I've seen it on, I think it might be in San Diego Comic Con. I've seen it on YouTube.
Hmm.
Basically, the Hulkbuster was designed by Tony Stark. This is a little history there. Hulkbuster was designed by Tony Stark to combat the Hulk. So remember if you've watched, what do you call it? The Avengers 2, I think?
Hmm.
Um, I forgot this name. But at one point, the Scarlet Witch got Hulk to rampage, and Tony Stark had to stop him, so he called in the Hulkbuster. So the Hulk is about the size of the Hulk. So imagine for a guy, I'd say, a guy who's about 5 foot something, maybe 6 feet, getting into a suit. Master Chief's suit is just all contained, but
Hmm.
the Hulkbuster's suit is a suit over a suit.
Awful. Um, have you ever done anything similar to that?
No, not yet. I have tried to dabble my hand into making like a Space Marine costume from Warhammer 40K, and just by the looks of it, I got confused. So, like, definitely need more research into the whole building thing. Some people build it with 3D printers.
Hmm.
I have a 3D printer. Some people, but the way I've seen them kind of build it on the internet, they have at least a garage to build it in.
Uh huh.
So to me it does seem like a really, like, not say I would say a messy job. Lots of dust flying about. Lots of sanding here and there. I don't have a garage, so I can make it in my living room right here.
Um, we'll be right back, guys. Just 1 second. And we're back. So, we were just talking about the kind of mechanical suits there. Have you ever worn anything like that when going to a Comic Con?
Want anything similar? No, but I would love to. Definitely love to.
Have you ever been around when, say, an Iron Man pops his helmet?
Hmm.
Oh, I remember going to the Comic Con event in August of last year
Hmm.
at the Brayhead Arena in
Hmm.
Glasgow, and I was waiting to do the cosplay march, and I seen an Iron Man just pop his mask part of the helmet. The sweat that was dripping off this poor
Yep.
guy.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I feel so sorry for you.
Yeah, but I remember the last MCM Comic Con last year. I was kind of grabbing my stuff and to see Darth Vader coming in to grab his stuff as well, and he started pulling his mask off, and like he just turns around to me and says, "I'm really, really hot," and you can see the sweat all clinging to his shirt.
The funny thing that I take away from that is I was surrounded by women at the time, and I'm trying not to be sexist as I say this, but um, two of them were dressed up as Disney princesses, and they were
Hmm.
saying, "Oh, my feet are killing me," because they were in like high heel shoes. And then this one girl who was next to me saying that my legs were just killing me standing here. She was dressed as a character from Monster Hunter.
Hmm.
And the lady in front of me was dressed as Lady Death from
Yep.
a video game, and she was in these real high heel shoes. And she kind of looked at the two Disney princesses who were saying, "Oh, my feet," and she's like, she just kind of like pulls out her leg and kind of shows them the size of her heel and says, yeah." And then the funnier thing was the Iron Man guy came like walking past us, popped his helmet, and all of them just went stone quiet. Like, and I was just kind of like standing there, like wanting to kind of laugh.
I would.
Like, that shut all of you up. Um, but yeah, let's move on, because I could get in trouble there. Um, when you're doing a cosplay event, what is the one thing that you are most excited for, and the one thing that you either still find most nerve wracking or used to find most nerve wracking?
Um, the most excited for I'd be is to be recognized, and like you put so much effort in your cosplay, and just to go down and people go, "Wow,
I know
Pyramid
you.
Head," or "Wow, Punisher," and or "Wow, Hunk," especially Hunk, because no one really knows who Hunk is somehow. Maybe it's like a secret character in Resident Evil 2. I'm not, but he is like one of the underrated characters.
Mhm.
So like for Hunk to come out and oh, you're Hunk from Resident Evil. I'm like, yes. Also to meet like fellow cosplayers such as Henry Wu, yourself, and Kirsty, who's cosplayed alongside my Pyramid Head as one of the Silent Hill nurses. So yeah,
Seen
that
some of
is
their
exciting.
at the Halloween event. Was Kirsty one of them?
Kirsty would be one of them. Yeah, she would. She was one of the nurses.
Awesome.
Hmm.
I'll need
And
to see if I can send my editor a picture of that, because I think I have a picture of the four of you. Well,
the
sorry,
three of us, yeah.
three of you together,
Hmm.
and just the detail in everyone's costume. It's insane. So, hopefully that will be at the end of this video, guys. I'll send that along. Um, so that's kind of like one thing that you like is like
Mm.
seeing all the different costumes and being alongside and being recognised. What would
Yep.
be one of the things that you used to find or still do find kind of nerve wracking about these events?
I still find it nerve wracking to go to get to the venue through public. Like just kind of going, especially when you park the car somewhere a bit further away. Say in the city center, you can't just park the car right in front of the venue, so you have to park the car in, say, a car park, and then make your way from the car park to the venue. Just carrying your cosplay, or some people would have already been dressed up and just walking through town, and everybody just kind of go, "What the hell?" Also, queuing up alone, feeling as if everyone's just kind of staring at me. So I still kind of find it nerve-wracking
I
because it still gives me the jitters and butterflies in my stomach.
I think that's something that's really interesting because like I'm not one for going in full makeup or costume to an event.
Mm-hmm.
because I'm traveling a very long distance. When I'm like even just traveling down to Glasgow, I'm still traveling quite a distance. So if I had to get myself ready in the morning and be going there in full makeup, I would get some weird looks
Yeah.
on the bus.
Yeah.
But one of my friends who lives in Glasgow, he gets kind of ready and he's met me a couple of times in full makeup. So we've walked down the street with me,
Mm-hmm.
not in makeup and him in makeup. Of people that kind of just shout the character's name like, oh, Joker, Harley, yada yada yada. I always find that really, really interesting.
That is interesting, but then as when you're walking alone, you know sometimes if people don't shout the name, you get even more nervous.
Mm. I always find the looks kind of interesting because while older people tend to shout the character's name or a
Hmm.
catchphrase or um, like if it's a villain you're cosplaying as, you'll get the hero's name shouted at you, like, oh, there's so and so, and you do the kind of pose to look for them.
Hmm.
Um, but it's the children that I like seeing because like their faces do either one of two things. Either they light up like, oh my god, that's
Yeah.
my favorite character ever, or they just kind of like
Yeah.
at you, um, which I think is great. It's so much fun.
And talking about that, I remember in the MCM Comic Con, I was dressed up as Pyramid Head and just walking about. I was a little boy, just kind of looking at me through his, just hiding behind his mom and dad and wanting to take a picture, but then still a bit shy, but still a bit scared. Obviously, Pyramid Head's a scary character, and he was hiding behind, and I'm like, come on, I'll take a picture with you. The mom and dad were ready with the cameras, and the moment I kind of knelt down, it was still a bit far away. I didn't walk over. It was still a bit far away. I knelt down and started kind of calling him over. He started crying, and I'm like, but then 2 seconds later, a little girl dressed up as Elsa
Hmm.
just walked right up to me and says, "Can I take a picture with you?"
Oh, that's great.
I'm
I,
like,
I love
"What
that.
the?"
I find things like that really, really fun because while we were at that Halloween event,
Hmm.
um, my friend David Gout, who was done up like the Joker, but it was like he had his face kind of smashed in. What we
Yep.
were telling people was like he angered me during the night, so I smacked him in the face with my hammer.
Hmm.
um, so we were kind of wandering around. Now he was using liquid latex
Hmm.
on his like swords, and we saw this little kid who was the brother of the little Ghostbuster.
Hmm.
Um, and we just kind of like looked in at him, and he kind of turned his face in towards his mother's neck, and I was like, I immediately knew because like I've worked with young children before, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna walk on. But David kind of wanted to see if the kid was okay, so he's like, oh, are you okay? You okay? The kid started bawling its eyes out, and I was like, you should have left him. um, But I think he was either tired or he was officially
Hmm.
scared. And hello, Steam. Um, because I've just had Steam pop up on my screen there. Um, we hope you enjoy whatever game you're playing on Steam. Um, but the really interesting thing was there was another little kid who was dressed up as a little bug.
Hmm.
And I remember going over to him, and I was just like thinking in my head, please don't cry, please don't cry, please don't cry. Because although my makeup wasn't really all that scary, it might have still frightened a child.
Hmm.
And I did the kind of like little tickly thing, like the tickly at his stomach, and he just started laughing before I could even touch him, which sounds really bad, but he started laughing before I could even tickle. And I was like, oh, thank God for that. And I remember saying to his mum, why didn't you like take him into the competition. And she's like, oh, well, my other son was already in the competition, so. And plus, I didn't really feel like honking my child up onto the stage. I was like, okay. Um, but yeah, it's so great seeing the reaction of children when it comes to things like that. Um, Now, speaking of cosplay competitions,
Mm-hmm.
we've already covered that you've been a judge for one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you entered many cosplay competitions yourself? And have you won anything when doing so? And if so, what was running through your head when you did?
Winning, no, but for the effort I've put through, I've been recognized for it. When like not the year, not last year, but the year before, as Pyramid Head in the MCM Comic Con, I went for the cosplay masquerade. Um, Even though I didn't win, as I was coming out, the audience kept everyone who was in the audience was like, "Yeah, you should have won that, Jan." So yeah, get the recognition, and also evident in my inclusion in the last year's Halloween Comic Con,
Hmm.
and also just recently for being the opening act for Chris Renfrew in his ICW title match against Grado at the Barrowlands as Pyramid Head, and alongside Kirsty, who played the nurse. So we did his
Awesome.
entrance.
Oh, that is awesome. Um, we'll be right back, guys.
Yep.
And we're back. So, you just mentioned there about opening for a wrestler
hmm
as Pyramid Head. Can you maybe expand on other opportunities that cosplay has presented you?
Um, Not much, but I have been approached by someone who's making a short film, and it was during the Comic Con, and he's seen the pyramid costume. He was gonna make fight between good characters and evil characters. So he wanted Pyramid Head to be one of the evil characters, kind of coming into, everyone kind of joining in, eventually kind of rushing in to fight, and then that's when the short, feature kind of cuts off. That did did as well give me a slight bit of an extra position
Hmm.
in another short film as well, but whether it's coming to be shown, still to be known yet.
Awesome. That'll be very exciting. You'll need to keep us updated on that one.
Uh,
Um, okay, so let's change it up a little bit here,
mhm.
and I will ask you what are your top five, and if you can't get five, we'll go with your top three funniest moments that have happened to you while in cosplay.
Funniest moment that has happened to me while in cosplay is always funny to meet Deadpool. Enjoying this. They're always funny. Like, um, we were posing for a picture, and Deadpool was just kind of saying, "All right, I'll lie down. You all got swords." It was myself and a few other who have swords, and we were all just kind of putting our swords into him. And then next, I just went, "Tell you what, I'll sit on you." So that was funny. Another one, not so sure that it was funny. Yeah. Um, Kind of to see people just trip over their own costume sometimes. I know it's bad, but it'd be like, oops, Superman going, woo!
Oh, that's great. Um, so tripping over people and one with Deadpool.
Not to mention, I did nearly enough trip over myself, especially when it comes to the stairs, and because of the way the costume is, the skirt pyramid head wears like a sarong or something. Whenever I kind of walk up the stairs, it comes down to my shoes, and so whenever one it either tears it or I'll be like, oh. There's countless of times I'm nearly falling into the
I
floor.
I need to ask you, the pyramid head, are you not cold when you wear that?
Uh, yeah, it is cool. Like especially when you go out. But thank goodness, like during the conventions, it's. I just dropped something there. During the conventions, it's like the way the whole place is set up, and the amount of people, it warms up in there. But then you sometimes get kind of hot or cold. So yeah, I do kind of feel a bit cold. But after a while, just keep walking and all that. It'll just warm you up just enough.
Because that was one of the other things that I remember when looking at your costume on Halloween was like, one, how does he manage to get around with that big giant pyramid on his head? And two, you must be like really, really cold.
Yeah,
Because
it's a bit difficult to kind of walk around, especially if I want to look at the stalls and all that. I'm like, you have to take off the head and just kind of walk about with the head on the shoulders. And sometimes when it's crowded, you want to turn and you kind of go right. Better not poke someone with the tip. It was cool, but then that's why you found I was just staying indoors most of the time. I never went out.
um, now you had mentioned after that you wanted to do a photo shoot
hmm
with Pyramid Head and the fog because we got some fog not long after Halloween.
Yeah,
Did you manage to get that done?
to go. That as well as I couldn't really find a proper, really, really foggy place. Like when I stepped out of the building, where's the fog?
It,
But
it decided to go somewhere else. It got
smoke
scared
machine
at
next
Pyramid
time.
Head.
Smoke machine next time. Much easier.
Much, much easier. Um, okay, so in your opinion,
hmm
which would you advise someone who is new to both cosplaying and Comic Con to go to? Would you advise them to go to first? Sorry, would you advise them to go to the big events like the MCMs and the Film and Comic Cons previously collected? Them to go to a small local event first.
I'd advise them to go to both. Um, Thing is because MCM is so big, and they bring in like a lot more well-known people,
Hmm.
a lot more well-known people, and like the last one they brought in Luke Evans, who plays the Bowman in one of the Lord of the Rings, and he plays Count Dracula in was it Dracula Untold?
Something.
Something.
I think it was opportunities that Cosplay has presented to you.
Yeah.
You were talking there about possibly doing a movie,
Well, a short
independent movie,
movie.
short
Mm.
movie, a short independent movie, I think. Um, so how excited are you for that kind of thing?
I was quite excited when I was when I'd done it. Like it was my first time after a while being on a set again, and like I was nerve-wracked. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. What should I be doing? Questions were just going through your mind, just waiting to, and then just the wait there while they set everything up. It's even scary as well. Just to kind of like, I feel like I'm not doing anything here. Everyone's doing stuff, and I'm just sitting here. So yeah, that was pretty nerve-wracking. Uh,
I'm gonna have to name and shame because we've had another Skype pop up there. We just had the Ranger boy playing the Living Dungeon, so shameless plug for the Living Dungeon on Steam. I do believe it's on Steam deals right now. You can get it at
Hmm.
half price, or it's got an open beta. So,
Cool.
shameless plug there. Um, in your opinion, what is the best and worst thing somebody who's new to Comic Cons and to cosplay can do when preparing to go to an event?
The best thing is planning. Lots and lots of planning. Start early
Hmm.
and don't leave anything to chance. Ask for advice, surf the internet. YouTube's your best friend for guides and tips. Personally, I would say originality also helps by
Hmm.
putting on your own personal touches on the cosplay, on the costumes or cosplay that you make. So it makes you appreciate it more than just being the run of the mill carbon copy of the character. But then again, some people might just like portraying the character to a T.
Hmm. I
Um,
think that was like one of the things I did at Halloween there.
yep.
I don't know whether you had seen me previous to the Halloween one, but my Harley Quinn esque outfit was like the coat that you'd seen me in,
Hmm.
the black jeans with the red diamonds on them, and instead of it being a red and black t shirt with white diamonds in it, it was a plain white t shirt with a Joker's face on it.
Hmm.
And when it came time to the Halloween event and I knew I was going to it, I was like, I have to change up this costume a little bit. So I sent off the red and black t shirt that I had kind of stitched up from two other t shirts and said to my friend, can you alter this to make it look really just like badly stitched together and maybe put some white diamonds in it somewhere? And she's like, sure, no problem. She
Hmm.
actually delivered it to my house the night before, and I was amazed when I seen it. I was like, oh, that is so great.
Hmm.
She'd actually popped in while I was like pinning pieces of black and red ribbon to the diamonds on the actual coat. Um, and it was just, as soon as I put it on, I felt so fantastic about it.
Yep.
I was like, oh, this is so great. Um, and at the same time, I was like, I didn't expect to like win anything. I was like, just I'm here to have fun. That's that.
Yep.
Um, and then when you guys like had called up my name, I was like, um, I was kind of looking around to see there's this another patchwork Harley here, and I kind of looked at my friend and he's like, "That's you." Oh, um, so I was like, "What?" Um, but yeah, preparation is really something amazing when you do it.
Hmm.
Um, what kind of things do you tend to do when preparing?
Well, when preparing for my costume, for my cos.
Um, for for both going into an event and preparing your costume.
Personally, I panic.
So you do the same I do.
I think everyone does. Everyone just panics even the night before. But proper planning, having your costume all built up, on say the day before you go, have it all laid out, try it on, just walk around in it a couple just to kind of get a feel of it, and if there's any minor adjustments needing done, there you go. Um, so yeah, but along the way that I've say when I was building any costume, any cosplay, I try it on. I keep trying it on and say right, keep seeing if there's any fine adjustments I can make, and yeah, like write a list. I wrote down a list as well just to kind of make sure that I have everything needed.
Do
And
you?
for sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
For originality wise, that's when the list and the planning makes up. You kind of give out a sketch on on a costume you want, and you can kind of plan for yourself where you want everything to go and what you might need.
Do you happen to follow a piece of advice that was given to me once before by someone um, whom I'll tell you after the interview's over who, because like guys, that's an interview that you guys will get to see, but it's like not until way in the future. Um, they advise that you take out your cell phone when you've got your costume on and maybe set the um, the actual camera part of the phone to the lowest kind of settings for taking a
Hmm.
picture, and then take a picture of yourself in costume. And like they were saying that like mobile devices are like really crappy for taking photographs. I personally think it depends on your mobile phone.
Hmm.
But the advice was really good when they said take a picture of yourself, and if you look good on in a crappy picture, like
Hmm.
in a crappy format of a picture, just think how amazing you will
Yep,
look when it's a professional photo being done.
definitely.
Do you do the same kind of thing?
Somewhat similar. I'll be asking other people's like opinion
Mhm.
after I build it. I'll be like, look, how does it look? I'll be asking my girlfriend, how does it look? What do you think, and all that, and she'll take pictures. I'll take picture of myself posing with my props and all that. So, but then again, nowadays, like phones nowadays, the cameras on them are pretty good, pretty good. So, you know, when I took the photo, if I'm satisfied with it, I'm like fine.
Awesome. You just mentioned props there, so we'll talk a little bit about props.
Hmm.
Do you make your own props? Do you buy them in? And are they sometimes something that adds something really good and significant to the character, or do you sometimes find them to be a bit of a hindrance?
Well, props. Depends on what cosplay you do,
Hmm.
but I mean, take my Punisher cosplay for example. Um, the rocket launcher I built it myself, but he doesn't really need a rocket launcher for the Punisher. But I wanted the Punisher to have a rocket launcher just because it's a rocket launcher. Um, there are some that I buy because I do airsoft as well, so I have like real imitation firearms that I can use for my as a prop.
Hmm.
But I always check with the venue if it's all right for me to bring them in to the venue. If it's not all right, or if it's because with a real imitation firearm, it's or riff for short, it can be mistaken as a real firearm. So if I go into public or into a public area, even though it's a convention, if I go into a public area with it slung on, I could be mistaken for, say, a terrorist. As in how I'm pretty sure you've seen it on the net. A Winter Soldier got taken away by the cops in NYCC.
Hmm.
So you always have to check with the laws and all that. But then that is just that part of the props. Whereas, say, if you have the one from Cardcaptor Sakura, and that's if you can build it yourself, good. If you can't, say maybe time or experience wise, you don't really know how to build a prop, go for it. Um, some props are necessary, some aren't so necessary. I mean, if you walk around Punisher, for example, if you walk around in a Punisher, just a Punisher t-shirts, jeans, and a coat, you look like everyone else. But which is Frank Castle, he walks around like that. But if you want to properly portray Punisher, then you need his
A
arsenal on the
gun of some description,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And then
Um,
say Pyramid Head, for example. Just walking around with the pyramid is cool enough, but if you bring that big knife, that enhances it.
Awesome. While we're on the subject of props, have you ever had a prop that you've had to like not take out that's had to be secured to you in some way, shape, or form?
And like I said, the real imitation firearms. The when I was playing Punisher, I had to bring it in a bag, and after reading the rules, it was fine. I had to bring it in a bag, but I know myself that if I say go out for lunch, out of the venue for lunch, I have to leave it in the bag. So yes, some places I can't, and I remember there's another event that I could go to. I went to as Punisher, but I could not bring out my guns.
The reason I ask is that there's a costume that I'm hoping to do for one of the bigger events this year,
Hmm.
and I have a prop for it, but I don't think it might be allowed because it could be seen as a dangerous weapon.
All props are dangerous weapon if used in the right way, but
Well,
what is it?
not gonna like fully say, but I got it at Halloween one year
Hmm.
from a dollar store, and it is classified as I said a dollar store. I've been
On shop.
speaking. I've been speaking with too many people from America recently. Um, I got it from a pound shop recently. Well, not recently, but at Halloween, and it was marked as a toy thing, and I thought I could use this somewhere down the line.
Hmm.
And this was long before I started. And I was just kind of like running through it in my head because I do plan to cosplay as this character, and I was like, right, um, there's no way that I could not use this prop, but
Hmm.
I would need to have it secured on me somewhere because I know for a fact that it would just cause trouble.
Well,
So,
best thing is to check with the venue first.
mhm,
Check with organizers if it's all right, if they're all right with it, and they'll usually give you
guidelines.
guidelines on
Yeah,
what you can and what you can't. But also, my personal advice is, if in doubt, don't bring it up.
yeah. One of the things that I would worry about that one though is, and this is something that I've heard about from other people when talking about props, is other, not just cosplayers, but just other people around you
Hmm.
touching said prop.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know whether you know B. She's a cosplayer that does kind of Harley now and then.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
She had a rubber chicken
Hmm.
at one point, or I think it was Taylor Young that had a rubber chicken, and people would just like monkey around with this rubber chicken, and it's like that that prop. Even if you just bought it that day, it's still your property,
Exactly.
and you don't really want people monkeying around because they could break it or they could end up even stealing it.
Hmm.
Um, or it could be like a really important part of your like outfit. Like you
Hmm.
might need to use that later in the day, and you can't really use it if it's broken or if someone's nicked it. Um, so when they were telling me about that, I was like, oh, oh dear, this could possibly mean that prop has to be either downsized or scratched completely.
People, manhandling it. I would say a lot of people who go for the cons, they'll ask permission to before they can touch your props, or if they really want to. But then you do get some just that ignorant and just go, hey.
Mm. Um, so let's kind of start rounding up here because we're almost at the 50-minute mark.
Mm,
Yay!
yay.
Um, so my last question before I pass over to you is, what advice would you give anybody who, well, actually, sorry, that one. Rewind there. My second to last question is, can you give us a possible sneak peek or let us know three costumes that you're going to do in this year in 2016?
Um, sneak peek is I have talked to a leather maker.
Mm-hmm.
I was planning to do a leather armor for a character.
Nice.
So I was planning that, and I've only got two costumes planned so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a leather armor, which that is just the sneak peek that I'll say.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm also trying to make after a what you call it after doing the opening act for Chris Renfrew, I'm planning to do Pyramid Head Mark II,
Nice.
which is the wrestler, which is NAK inspired, not inspired. That's the wrestlers group.
Mm-hmm.
That's Chris's group, and so I have kind of did a little drawing and just hopefully I'll be able to get the stuff and start building it pretty soon.
Great. So my definite last question to you now is, what advice would you give to anybody who would like to cosplay, but they just, they're like, where do I start? What do I do?
Um, my advice would be YouTube and the internet. You know, it's readily available. It's free, and that's the best place to start if you want to like find out about costumes and how to use the guides and all that. Also, baby steps, simple costumes first. Going to small conventions also help you boost your confidence for future bigger cosplays that you want to do. I mean, I'm saying simple costumes first is because it's easy. You know, don't be afraid of buying it in if you want, because it's your first time. You want to make sure that you have fun,
Yeah.
not and not go through the whole thing and eventually go like, I actually don't like doing this anymore. And it boosts your confidence. I said that also. Don't be shy at cons. Go out there, impress everyone you meet. You own the costume. That's how I would say it. Also, mind the cosplay etiquette. Consent. Cosplay does not mean consent, as how we've seen in the past few months, I think, which is a bit down. Go with friends if you can, because numbers help. It helps chases away the butterflies in your belly, and like I say, mainly have fun. Have lots and lots of fun. Also, most of us fellow cosplayers would be more than willing to help out. Say like doing a little meetup before going to the con, so that the more you go, the more the merrier, as they say, and planning on like a place to meet up in case you get separated during the con,
Awesome.
especially if it's in a big place.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the part of the interview where I like to turn over to the interviewee
Ooh.
and say, where can our viewers, because we have viewers, get a hold of you if they have any further questions solely for you?
I have a few places, well, not places, but a few sites. I'm on Instagram at yerothunder.com. That's YERROTHUNDA. Well, not at yerothunder.com, but at yerothunder. I'm on Facebook as Nicholas Ma, and there's a few Facebook groups that I'm also in. I'm in the MCM Expo Comic Con Scotland, the Glasgow Gothamites, the EGC Edinburgh and Glasgow Cosplayers, and the Glasgow Cosplay Monthly Meet. That's all on Facebook. And yeah, that's how
do
you
you have your own YouTube channel?
That is something that I'm planning to do. I'm planning to make up a YouTube channel that not just comprises of cosplay. It'll be a multi kind of things that I do. So there'll be some of cosplay, there'll be some of me going airsoft and there'll be some of me making cocktails, making food. So
So it's going to be a real
mixed mash
mishmash
of
of things. Kind
mixed
of
mash
similar
of
to what we're like here on the Jai452 channel.
Yep.
Mishmash of everything. So thank you for letting us know, and thank you, Stormy, for playing XCOM 2
Oh,
on
you're making me
Steam.
jealous now. I want to play that.
So that was really interesting. As always, guys, you can catch this interview here on the Jai452 channel. Give Nicholas a big thumbs up. Mash that thumb button. Give it even a tickle. Also, is there a comment section down there? Do you see the comment section?
I think so.
It's there, guys, down there. Leave us a comment. I will reply if you have any questions for me. I'm sure that Nicholas will also put in any replies if he sees them on his video. And yeah, even I think there's a subscribe button somewhere. I try
Right
to
there.
do. Yep, right there. I try to do videos every chance I get and get them up to you as soon as I can. So yeah. Have you enjoyed your time rummaging through the land of cosplay or rummaging inside cosplay?
Of course
Let's
I did.
find out. Okay, guys, we will be back real soon with another interview. So, bye!
Bye. Have a bit of a time.